Okay, the first thing you want to do for the ultimate bacon grilled cheese sandwich is you take your leftover bacon drippings in your basting brush and grab your bread and try to go lightly on this because you don't want your cholesterol to get way out of control, but you have to get enough of the melted bacon grease on here to keep it from burning, right? Alright, that should be enough. Okay. Now, the next step is we take our piece of bread and place it in the pan. Okay. I use the thin cheese, the thin sliced cheese, so you can get a base layer for the bacon to stick. And I break the bacon up into bread length pieces, being careful to save the leftover bacon. So there's one. Here's a second piece. Third piece. And there's a gap right there, so I'll put that piece in. Now, another thing I like to do is use a little bit of shredded cheese. Excuse me, shredded cheese on top of the bacon, because we're going to have to do another partial layer. Okay, so you can take your broken pieces, and I like to lay them the opposite way. And if you run out of broken pieces, that's fine. It's quite acceptable to break up another piece. Okay, so then we're good on that. So now we have two that are half done. Okay, our next step is to grab another piece of our cheese, and that's another reason why I like to use the thin sliced cheese, not the thick, is because you don't want to kill yourself with cheesy cholesterol. Okay, so another piece here, and also in the pan you can start it up on high or medium high to get it going, but then as soon as you start to hear a little bit of a sizzle, you want to turn that stuff down, because it's going to take a while for this cold cheese to melt. So there you have it. And then we take our final piece of not buttered bread, but lightly bacon greased bread, and put it on top. Okay, one last thing I'd like to add. You fix your bacon, right? You fry it in the pan, and it gets nice and tons of bacon grease in there. And a lot of times you want to save that for use later or something, or, well, you can. Sometimes if you just take a can of green beans and you want to spruce them up a little bit, you can throw just a half a tablespoon of that bacon grease in with them as you're cooking them or heating them up, and it really does a lot to add some home cooked flavor to the whatever you're adding, like green beans or what have you. Another thing I wanted to mention is that if you're doing that and you happen to have one of these nice handy Pyrex glass Pyrex measuring cups, you can actually take the hot grease directly from the pan and pour it straight into the Pyrex, because it will not shatter. It is scientific grade glass, all Pyrex is. So that's an option until it cools. Another thing I wanted to bring up is that you'll notice that I've used the Kroger brand cheese, which I've used it a lot before, and we get it on a regular basis. Generally we'll get what's on sale, but if it's the Kroger brand, it's fine. I've had no problems with the quality of it, and they do make the thin slices, and they do make multiple flavors of the cheese. They have Swiss and Colby and pepper jack and everything else you might want. So just wanted to bring that up. One last thing also is that when you're done with your sandwiches, if you want to hit them with a little bit of garlic powder or something of that nature, that's a pretty good idea, but you probably want to wait until they're completely done to do that. All right, so that's the double bacon, double grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay, here we have closer to the final product. The sandwich has been flipped the first time. You'll notice we lost a little bit of cheese on the side, no big deal. One trick you can do is to just kind of slide the sandwich over. It does a nice job of picking up that cheese, and then you get this nice crusty feature here on your sandwich, which is really good. Sometimes the bacon gets a little out of control. You can kind of tap it back in, or if there's a little piece, you can work it back in with your spatula. If you've used enough cheese, it will come back in and get stuck at some point.